Why looking poor might be the smartest financial decision you ever make. I'm not talking about living in misery or pretending to be someone you're not. I'm talking about choosing financial freedom over fake flexing. The goal isn't to impress others, it's to grow your bank account, not your ego. Staying low-key can actually lead to bigger rewards, and here's why. Section 1. The trap of chasing status. Let's talk about something that quietly ruins financial lives. The pressure to look rich. It's a trap. A really expensive one. In today's world, perception is everything. And that means a lot of people are spending thousands of dollars to appear successful, even when they're struggling just to stay afloat. Take this for example. Someone buys the newest iPhone the day it drops, not because their old one stopped working, but because it feels outdated. They're spending $100-$200 just to keep up with people they've never met on social media. Or think about the designer sneakers. You wear them to events where nobody actually notices. But still, you feel like you have to. To look sharp. To seem like you're doing well. To prove something, to people who probably aren't even paying attention. But here's the harsh truth. You're not upgrading your life. You're feeding your insecurities. And once you start, it becomes a never-ending game. You buy one high-end item, and suddenly, everything else you own starts to feel cheap. Your clothes, your car, your apartment, even your dinner choices feel like they need to match this new version of yourself. And before you know it, you're working longer hours. You're swiping credit cards more often. You're spending just to maintain an image. Not because you want to, but because you have to. You've built a lifestyle so expensive, you literally can't afford to slow down. You can't take a lower-paying job that would make you happier. You can't start that business idea you've been sitting on. You're trapped. Not by poverty, but by pretense. Now, contrast that with someone who looks broke. The guy wearing the same pair of sneakers for 3 years. The woman driving a 10-year-old car and bringing lunch from home. They're not flashy, but they might be quietly saving 40% of their income, investing every month, and sleeping way better at night. They don't feel the need to prove anything. Because they've already made the decision. Freedom flexing. And here's the twist. 10 years from now, when the person chasing status is still grinding paycheck to paycheck, that broke-looking friend will be financially free, living life on their terms. So ask yourself, are you building wealth, or just building an image? Section 2. Freedom comes from living below your means. Let's break a major myth. Living below your means doesn't make you poor. It gives you something far more valuable than status ever will, freedom of choice. Picture two friends. The first one drives a luxury car with monthly payments. Lives in a high-rise apartment with rent that eats up half their paycheck. Always dressed in the latest trends. From the outside, they look like they've made it. But behind the scenes, they can't afford to miss a paycheck. They say yes to every job, even the ones they hate, because the bills don't stop. Their lifestyle owns them. Now, the second friend drives a reliable 10-year-old car, rents a modest apartment, wears simple, comfortable clothes. From the outside, they might not turn heads. But here's what they do have. Savings. Breathing room. Peace of mind. They can walk away from a toxic workplace. They can take a career break without spiraling into debt. They can invest in an idea, take a calculated risk, or say, I need time, without asking for permission. That's real freedom. And it doesn't come from earning more, it comes from spending less than you earn. It comes from resisting the pressure to impress, and focusing on what actually matters to you. Because when you stop living to please the world, you start living on your own terms. Looking poor isn't about scarcity, it's about control. You're not being cheap. You're being strategic. And that strategy buys you options that the flashy lifestyle simply can't. Section 3. Simplicity beats survival mode. Let's clear something up. There's a massive difference between being broke and choosing simplicity. One comes from struggle. The other? From strategy. When you live beyond your means, you don't actually feel rich. You feel stressed. You're anxious at the end of every month. You're constantly juggling bills, praying your card doesn't decline, living paycheck to paycheck. That's survival mode. And the longer you stay there, the harder it is to break out. But choosing simplicity? That's a whole different life. When you live intentionally, below your means, on your own terms, things start to shift. You breathe easier. You sleep better. You stop feeling like you're constantly chasing the next thing. Emergencies don't throw you off. Because you've got savings. You've got space. You've got margin in your life. Let me give you a personal example. I wore the same black sneakers for nearly 3 years. Not because I couldn't afford new ones, but because I didn't need them. That small choice? It helped me save my first $5,000. That $5,000 became my first investment. And that investment? That's what eventually gave me the freedom to walk away from things that didn't serve me. That's the power of simplicity. It's not about lack. It's about letting go of what doesn't matter, so you can focus on what does. Because once you escape survival mode, you stop reacting, and you start creating. Section 4. Authentic living builds real wealth. Here's the truth most people overlook. When you stop trying to look rich, you finally start building real wealth. You stop buying things just for attention. You stop chasing trends just to feel enough. And most importantly, you stop comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Because you realize, success isn't about what it looks like, it's about what it feels like. You find peace. Not in possessions, but in progress. Not in flexing for others, but in knowing you're moving in the right direction, slowly, quietly, intentionally. Now, let's be real. People might judge your choices today. They might laugh at your old car. They might question why you're not going out every weekend or buying the latest whatever. But fast forward 10 years. They'll still be chasing appearances. And you? You'll be financially free, living a life they can't afford, without the debt, without the stress, and without the mask. That's the long game. So wear the same clothes. Drive the reliable car. Skip the flashy events. Invest in your future instead of your image. Because the discipline you practice today, that becomes your wealth tomorrow. So here's the big takeaway. Looking poor isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. It means you're focused. Focused on freedom over flash. Peace over pressure. Wealth over waste. You're not here to impress strangers. You're here to build something that lasts. If this message resonated with you, even just a little, drop a comment and tell me, what financial pressure are you choosing to walk away from? And if you're done chasing appearances, and you're ready to start building the kind of wealth that actually matters, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay smart, stay grounded, and stay real.